Welcome to Obscured Reality with Mark and Stephanie. From UFO sightings to the lost city of Atlantis, from alien encounters to the living dead, each episode will leave you questioning reality. If you're ready to explore the eerie, tune in to Obscured Reality, where mysteries come alive.
She's smiling tonight.
Got to.
Oh, welcome back. You know who it is. We got an update show for you tonight. We got to prove things wrong, and we got to prove us correct, and we got to prove other people correct too. You guys have all heard of the Jellyfish UAP. We did 2 episodes on it, 73, 74.
Oh, wow.
70
that was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it. It seems like yesterday, but 74 was where, we found some information from someone else's YouTube that did a little bit of research into it, and we found balloons being sold in Iraq for a holiday called EID, and they, man, it really looked like the Jellyfish UAP could be those balloons, or a group of them, whatnot. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pull up a video here. We're going to look real quick. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but we are going to look real quick at the original video that came out. Just pulled it up. Just to give everyone a refresher, you guys all know the video. We've all seen it. But let's take a look real quick at the original Jellyfish UAP video. Let me play it right now.
Yes.
I'll get rid of the audio. We don't need it. So this is the original video. Came out. Jeremy Corbell. He's, at one point he had said, "Oh, look, this thing's translucent. It's turning invisible and not invisible." All this BS. And then later he kind of changed it and went into saying, "Look, it's going from super hot to super cold, back to super hot and super cold. Nothing we have can do it. Blah, blah, blah." So this was the UAP video, and he's saying, "Oh, it's flying right over the military, one of our military bases in Iraq. It's flying right over people's heads, and they didn't even see it. And it's definitely not a balloon. It doesn't look like a balloon, doesn't act like a balloon, doesn't move like a balloon, blah, 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 all this BS." And in one portion, you can see right there. Let's back that up and pause it real quick. Right there, you see a flag. It's barely moving, so there's a gentle breeze. You can see the flag's kind of flowing in the same direction that was originally pointed out. Also, this hot, cold, translucent BS. You watch it when it turns black, and then it kind of goes back. And what you notice is a lot of the things in the background do the same thing at the same time. Right? So it's an artifact of the camera where it's going, it's zooming in, it's zooming out. You see everything lightens up and darkens up as this thing does. So essentially then what he would have to be saying is that, well, everything's turning translucent and invisible and then coming back to life, or everything's turning super hot and super cold just like this thing is. It's complete BS. So that's the original video. I'm going to stop sharing that right now. So that's the original video, okay? Now, I want to point out, because I've noticed this quite a few times with Jeremy Corbell, with videos like this. Here's what he does. So I'm going to ask you a quick question, Stephanie. It's not a trick question. It's just, you can answer it great. You can't, great. The Jellyfish UAP video, just let's say you just saw it for the first time. If someone were to ask you, hey, come up with however many possibilities as you can as to what you think it could be. Not, I firmly believe it's this, just what different things do you think it could be, so that we can start looking in different directions as to the best possible ideas, so we can try and figure this thing out. What would be some ideas you would have as to what you think maybe it could be?
Balloons. It could be like, if there was a breeze, maybe one of those like I want to say prop kites, but I know that's not the correct term. But those special kites that are larger than just a little square with the tail. Could have be one of
Well, it's
those.
moving.
Well, yeah, but
Right.
I mean, if there's a wind and it's it catches, if it breaks the
Okay.
string and it goes, and that's probably what that would look like to me. It
Okay.
could at least. There's
Balloon
like,
kite.
yeah,
Anything else? It doesn't matter. It's not a
yeah,
trick question. If that's it, that's it. Okay. So
yeah.
what I came up with is, maybe balloons. You could be looking at maybe a drone. Not that that actual thing's a drone, but you could have a drone such as a quadcopter, right? Like a DJI Mavic drone that any of us can go buy at the store. With a string with something hanging from it. I do it with my drone. I have a device that goes on and it's a mechanical release for parachutes for the kids, right? You can do it. You can hang stuff from it. You can't hang
That's
much weight,
cool.
but so there's two options. Maybe a helicopter carrying a cargo load, which Blackhawks do. It's a military base. Why not? We already know the video was taken from an aerostat, which is kind of like a balloon, a blimp, but it's in place. It's strapped down high up in the air. It's got a ton of these cameras and sensors on it. From another military base of ours, a ways away from this, that's where the angle's coming from. So if it were a helicopter with a cargo payload, it's reasonable to think that you might not see the cable because the cable's so thin compared to where the aerostat is taking the video from. It's so far away. Maybe the cable doesn't show up. Piece of trash. We know there's a breeze. I don't think it's a piece of trash, right? It's too straight of a movement. You'd think it'd
Consistent.
be fluttering around if it was just some really light trash. But there's 3, 4 things right there. Now, what Corbell does in a lot of his videos, and he especially did in this one, is out of anything you can think of that, hey, maybe it could be this, maybe it could be that, he doesn't list all of the things he thinks that it could be and then debunk them and try and say, maybe it's this, but I don't think it is because of this, this, and this. Maybe it's this, but I don't think it is because of these reasons, right? He
Mhm.
doesn't. What he does do is he picks out the one thing that it most likely is and says it is definitely not that. In this case, he said it's definitely not a balloon. Look, it doesn't look like a balloon, doesn't move like a balloon, doesn't behave like a balloon, doesn't act like a balloon, all this stuff. And it probably is a balloon. People found balloons sold for it out there kind of match the shape. And we showed that in episode 74 is probably a balloon. Um,
He
now,
also, I believe it might have been Corbell, but it was the same tactic that was used in the California UAP supposed sighting with the video that you provided
yeah,
a
well,
couple episodes back. Like,
he does it with all of his videos.
I know, it's the
You
same
know,
thing. Like, oh well,
and
it's definitely not a flare because
it's a
this.
red flag. Stephen Greer did this. We did the Stephen Greer video recently
Okay,
on the
that's what it
Vero
is. Yep.
Beach CE5 event
Yes, that.
with a what is most likely a small plane out over the ocean dropping 2 flares.
That's what I was
Someone
talking about. My bad.
Yeah, someone that he knew probably paid. Someone found the flight, and it was right there at the right time, the exact same time, right where these lights showed up. He did the same thing.
It's
Oh,
a
those
Christmas
definitely aren't flares.
miracle.
Yeah, those aren't flares. He's telling you the narrative, even though what you're seeing goes 100% against what he's saying.
Hmm.
He's telling you it's not flares. They're not moving. They're hovering in place. And you could clearly see they're slowly drifting down and to the right.
Yeah.
It's complete BS. So I'm going to share the screen again here right now. So we did a previous episode on AARO, All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. AARO is a new UAP group like ATIP and Lou Elizondo was. And they've come out with a recent update conclusion on the Jellyfish video. So if you want to go there, it's arrow.mil, M-I-L. You're going to go to UAP cases right here. And then you're going to go to official UAP imagery. And the first one, at least right now, that pops up is this one. Here's what they say. In October 2017, an infrared sensor onboard a force protection aerostat near Al Takadum Air Base, Iraq, captured 17 minutes of video of an unidentified object. AARO assesses that the object was a cluster of partially and fully inflated balloons. The object's appearance is consistent with other recorded observations featuring balloon clusters. AARO employed full motion video analysis and pixel examination techniques to inform its assessment. AARO assesses that the object did not demonstrate anomalous performance characteristics. AARO used geolocational data from the aerostat to assess the object's speed and direction of travel. So, important to note here, October 2017 is when this was taken.
Mhm.
Now, it falls in at different times every year, and it's consecutive. So in 2017, it
Mhm.
fell in June. So
There's two
when
ids a year, actually. So,
I looked up the data, I'm telling you what I found. 2017, they said it fell in June. If it fell in October, that'd be awesome. They said it fell in June. When you look up some data on balloons being sold in Iraq and when and for what holidays, they said typically balloons sold for Id would be right around the time of the holiday. They're much harder to find after the fact. Doesn't mean they're not available. Doesn't mean someone didn't buy some and kept them refilled with helium or bought them deflated and filled up. Who knows? Not even saying these are balloons from it anymore. I don't know, but this is their assessment.
mhm.
Um, so balloon clusters, they have what Corbell should have done. They've posted the entire 17-minute video. Now, we're not going to watch the whole thing. I'll skip through a bit of it here. And what I want you to see is I'm going to go straight to the video
Mhm.
we just saw, but this is the high definition one they released. Now, I want you to just watch and just look at the quality of this video compared to the other one. It looks a little bit better, which calls into question the video Corbell put out. Did someone dumb that down on purpose? And I want you to pay attention to the object. What does it look like from this video? Let's hit play. Again, this is 17 minutes. We're not watching the whole thing. Sorry. Gotta scroll a little, get that bar. Where's that slider? There we go. Let's move up to 2 minutes here. This is going to be right around the same spot. So we're going to start seeing what's basically almost the same thing as a video we just saw. This is the full 17-minute video, even when it goes out over the lake that was out there. And the quality changes too. It'll get better, but they're highly zoomed in here. When they zoom out, you can see it looks, I mean, just looking at this particular video,
Mhm.
it totally looks like cluster balloons. And from what is being said, now we're getting right into the video we just saw previously. You're going to start seeing, you'll see the flag pass by real quick. You'll see that mound of dirt or whatever it was coming up. Um, Here we go. And I think from I remember Mick West when he was looking at this video, he pulled all the data and he's the one who said this was from an aerostat. It looked like this thing was just outside of the base. It wasn't actually directly over, at least from going to a map and looking at the layout and the base and where it was. And what you really see from this video there, right there, is those mounds of dirt that it passed by that you see in the other video,
Mhm.
right there. And this is where you see these mounds start changing to dark, just as these balloons start changing to dark as well. Keep playing. And this video is great because you get to see a much different quality. Right here, it doesn't look too much different of a quality, but there's numerous spots where they zoom in, zoom out, and the quality of this um, definitely seems a little better than what we saw from Corbell. And you get a size of this base. Right there is important.
Holy
Right there,
shit.
right there is important, I think. And I'm going to show you why. There's the object right here. You see that little dot right here? It was
Yeah.
just moving. I paused it. It was just moving.
Yeah.
That is the balloons. And you can
Oh.
see easily from this just how high they are. They never flew directly over anyone's heads like Corbell would have you believe. And what Corbell didn't tell you when he tried to tell you his narrative and his narrative is true, this was at night.
Yeah.
This could have flown 10 feet above the couple people that are outside that we see in the video. It could have flown 10 feet above their head and they probably wouldn't have seen it.
You know,
It's
I don't know
direct. They
why,
don't have
but
the
I have
light
always
pollution
known
we
this was
have
in the dark.
America in all our major cities. It's BS.
I don't know. I guess I'd see enough like stuff in infrared to know that this was in pitch black the whole
Right.
time.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be in this view.
Dude, not even that, but if it was bright out, this would be whitewashed in infrared. Completely washed the fuck out.
Exactly.
So like the darker it is, the crisper it is. So maybe it's just me, but I've always known that it was at dark, but I guess that's just not common knowledge to others.
People, when you come out and you force a narrative it's true and you're very just vigilant about it. This is what it is. Blah, 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 blah. People don't have time to think about that, and most people don't go back and look back on it and think about it. And if you're somewhat trusted, like Corbell is by many people, then they just go with what you say. But this gives you a good aspect. God, I forgot where it was now. It's right up here. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
It gives you a good aspect here of just how high it actually is. It's not right above the ground. It's not right above people. Let's keep playing. I mean, look at this. Look how clear this video is. Someone was mentioning, yeah, it looks like some of the balloons are probably deflated. That's why they're hanging down. We already know it's not a strong wind. It's just a nice little breeze. Now, at some point in this video, we see it right here. It looks like it's starting to elevate. I could be wrong. That might just be the angles of the buildings and this camera going up and down because it's on the aerostat. But there is one part where you can clearly see it starts moving up a little bit. See some dogs running out there. Corbell would have you believe it's right above those dogs' heads.
Oh, the dogs were chasing it.
Not true. Yeah, not true.
The puppies were playing. Sorry,
he didn't say that. I'm just.
I know. That's definitely something he would probably say to force that.
Well, I mean, he did with the people. So
I
it
know.
flew right over people's heads. No, it never flew over anybody's head, let alone right over anybody's head. And this video is just great. The quality is awesome. And you get to see the full video if you want to. You go there, you can watch the full 17-minute video. This thing stays on track, keeps going in the general same direction.
So I was looking at Islamic holidays for 2017 outside of Eid, and they're actually on the 1st of October. There was not necessarily like a national holiday, but there was a significant holiday. I'm going to mispronounce this, but the day of Ashura. Also, Hijra. I apologize. Islamic New Year is also September 22nd. So, I mean, there could be a number of reasons why there were, fancy balloons because of those two right there.
And let's not forget birthdays.
Yeah. And also, let's not forget about why the fuck not? Like, it could be a balloon for anything. Like animal-shaped balloons, cartoon-shaped balloons. They're all very popular.
Not to cut you off, but to cut you off, watch here. It looks like, I could be wrong. Yeah. This might not be the spot, but it almost looks like it started to elevate a little bit. And it's going to change with the wind. It's going to change with where the breeze hits things on the ground if there's an updraft.
No, you're right. It does look like it took off a little bit right there.
There's a spot where you can very much tell it definitely looks like it had an upward trend. Not that mattered. Like right here, not that does or doesn't matter.
It definitely looks like it's gaining elevation.
A little bit. Yeah. It's moving around with the breeze. And you got to remember the breezes are different at different elevations. This thing could be 300 feet off the ground. You could have a strong wind, whereas on the ground you have none. You could have a slight breeze on the ground and a slight breeze up here going a different direction. This is how our weather works, people. Yeah. But Corbell would have you believe this wasn't a balloon. And the other thing he did, he never pointed out the wind. He never pointed out that everything in the background is changing to black and changing back to white at the same time the object was. He never told you it was nighttime. He never told you how high it was. Again, you have to demand answers. You have to demand accountability from these people when they're going to come out and do this stuff and enforce a narrative and try and make you believe a narrative is true when
Hmm.
what you're seeing does not match the narrative they're telling you. And here we're going to see, I'll forward a little bit. Now, there's a second part to the video. Back when this jellyfish video originally came out, Corbell put it out, and then he put out a second video. It was really short of this thing's supposedly flying over water. There's a lake out there, and watch it disappears into the water, and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Yeah, he's full of crap.
Imagine
We will
that.
see right here. I believe it is. It's going over the lakes. Came out from the land. Um, went over to the left, guys.
Yeah.
Aerostat. Let's move left. Okay, boys. Looks like it's going over the lake now, right? And yeah, went out over the water. And we already know the other base this was taken from was a ways away. So this is a pretty good quality image for going that far from an aerostat camera.
Right.
And at some point, yeah, it's gonna fade out. We already know how high this is. Approximately, Mick West was able to assess that, but you can tell from this, it's fairly high. When it gets out to a certain point, it's going to disappear. I don't know if it does in this video,
I
but
mean, that's what
yeah,
happens. Yeah, it
it's
just
going to
gets
just
too far to focus
fade
on.
out. Yeah, and oh, looks like it went into the water.
Oh.
Bullshit. And it pisses me off because people like him. I'll keep playing it in case anyone wants to watch more while we're talking.
Yeah.
But it pisses me off because they force these narratives. And you know what pisses me off is there's only one person you can really trust in this whole topic right now, and that's Luis Elizondo. I do like the guy. I have a lot of respect for him. I somewhat trust him as of now. It is dwindling, especially after the last UAP hearing. Because it started boom right off the bat, him being asked questions and immediately saying, "Oh, I can't talk about it in this format." And it's like, well, then why are we doing this format? You can't provide anything. And I just
Right.
watched an interview today, a portion of one. It's long, and I forgot who it was with doing the interview. But I always like listening to Elizondo. I really like the guy. Um, and you know what? He's getting a little upset, a little pissed off, and I get it because of people like Stephen Greer, who we know is nothing more than a snake oil salesman. And
Mhm.
he's a
A
used car,
fraud.
he's a crappy used car salesman at the
Yes.
worst used car dealer you can find. And everything Greer puts out is crap, and a lot of it's being
Oh, it's
debunked. The
not a
Vero
lemon. It's
Beach
definitely
thing,
not a lemon. Don't know.
yeah,
This thing doesn't have, falling off wheels and rims and rusted bucket. No, no,
right.
no.
In the whole Vero Beach CE5 event, we know
Yeah.
there was a plane that took off. It was, there were flares.
Staged. Yeah.
He's crap. And so I get that Lou Elizondo's getting upset, and I know Stephen Greer has called out Lou Elizondo, saying some things about him, and allegedly Elizondo said things back about Greer that I don't know to be true. I haven't seen it. I'm sure it is, but who knows? But I'm watching this interview today with Lou Elizondo, and we're getting to a point. I firmly believe we're getting to a changing point where people are sick of the lip service that we've been putting up with this for about almost 8 years now, since 2017 when these videos came out,
Mm-hmm.
and then immediately after Lou Elizondo came out. We've been hearing nothing but lip service from people like Lou Elizondo, Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, and others. And we hear an over promising, an over delivery of things, but we don't get anything real in return. And I firmly believe other people are too, seems to be the general feeling here, that people are at a point where they're sick of the BS that we're being told and now by these people, and now they're wanting to demand real tangible proof. Look,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to come out and keep in mind a lot of what Lou Elizondo says, he's super ridiculously vague on almost everything.
Oh, yeah.
And he blames it on his NDAs and his security clearance. I get the NDAs, I get the security clearance, but ultimately, to me, Lou Elizondo is a very intelligent guy. So to me, it's why continue over promising stuff that you're not going to deliver on. Instead, come out, tell the truth to what you can and you're okay with telling without getting in trouble. I get that. And let people know. I'll come back here from time to time with updates, how things are going, whatever, but stop over promising and under delivering on everything. He just said it was like 2 months ago. Something big's coming in about 2 weeks, we mentioned on a show. And then he goes, it'd probably be like 1 week.
And
Nothing
I
ever
was like,
happened.
bullshit. I called it.
Yeah,
Called it.
nothing
Called it.
ever happened.
No.
And here's the problem. In this interview I'm just listening to today, which is a very recent interview, just came out I want to say the last week.
Mm.
He calls us out, not Obscured Reality, not
I
Mark
was
and
about to
Stevie,
be
but
like, excuse
us.
me?
You, me, people like us, you
Mm.
watching the show, demanding answers because we've been given nothing but bullshit this whole time.
Yep.
And here's what this guy says. He goes, a bunch of these armchair quarterbacks in their mom's basements wearing underwear, playing video games, eating Cheetos, blah, blah, blah. I don't have anything to prove to you guys. Like, you know what? We've been dealing with your guys' bullshit for 8 years. You guys have kept touting this and that and this and that, and nothing good comes out. Then we got Corbell putting out shitty videos all the time that have nothing to them, and these false narratives that clearly do not match up with what you're seeing in every video he shows.
Mhm.
Hell, the one out in Palmdale, California, I think it was Palmdale. You got all the military guys on the military base looking out towards the desert and the mountains. Oh my God, look at that. What's that? Blah, blah, blah. And he's trying to tell you it's aliens and the alien craft are here and blah, blah, blah. Debunked in no time at all. It was some other training exercise that was going on that these guys didn't have a freaking need to know. It's bullshit. Stop believing what you hear. Question every goddamn
Everything,
thing with
yeah.
this. I firmly believe something is going on. And I firmly believe that for one reason and one reason only. Well, I'm going to say two reasons. One reason, there's been a huge uptick in events, okay? I know there's true stories out there, and I know there's true stories out there because I have a true story of my own.
Mhm.
And what I saw, I cannot explain, and it did something multiple times that it shouldn't have done. That doesn't mean it's aliens. That doesn't mean that I come to you and force a narrative on you that it's aliens or who the hell
Whatever.
knows. It means here's what I saw. I don't
Mhm.
know what the hell it is, but I'd like to know. I don't care what it is. I just want to know what's going on. There's something
Right.
going on. Okay. You cannot look at these people and listen to their narratives. What red flags, guys, when they're telling you it's definitely not this and it's crazy, and you hear the narrative say that it's not doing any of these things, which you clearly see it is, you got to call that into question. It's getting ridiculous. And I'm kind of upset hearing Lou Elizondo saying what he said in this interview today. These armchair quarterbacks sitting in their mom's basements in their underwear playing video games. Like, you're doing the same goddamn thing right now,
I
Mr.
mean, I sit in my
Elizondo.
own basement playing video games in my underwear, but okay.
Yeah. It pisses me off because he seems like a very nice guy, very honest, very trustworthy guy to me, and down to earth. And I really like the guy. I do respect him and I do trust him to an extent. But, if Elizondo is being completely truthful about everything, which I think he probably is because he hasn't really made many claims here,
Mhm.
I do believe he's being somewhat truthful. He needs to remember when he says, do your own research. You guys, you can do all this too, blah, 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 blah. Well, no, you're saying that knowing that nobody can. We all have to have a 9 to 5. Some of us have to have 2 9 to 5s. People have kids, people have a life. They can't spend that amount of time. Most people don't have the resources to do that kind of research, whereas he did because he ran freaking ATIP. It's BS. Call it into question because people like that, when they're coming out with all these claims, need to be held accountable. I'm looking down at the video that's not even playing, like it's up on the screen and it's not. I'm sorry. It pisses me off. It pisses me off. I completely agree with AARO's assessment here,
Mhm.
because we knew that assessment before them, which tells you how good of a freaking job they're doing, that everyone else can do minor research and figure out, yeah, is most likely balloons. Then you look at someone like Mick West, who's a freaking god with math and data, and puts all the shit together in programs from all the data that's available and figures out, here's how fast it's going. Here's the altitude approximately it's at. Oh, here's where the video's coming from, a fucking aerostat at another military base of ours that's keeping watch over this military base. Holy shit, it's a fucking balloon. And people dog this guy because he's arrogant. Yeah, he comes off a little arrogant. Props to him, Mick West. Be fucking arrogant, because you've got the brain of 20 of us. Yeah, who gives a shit? Is he telling the truth or not? I don't care if he's arrogant. I don't care if he's a piece of crap. Is he telling the truth or is he lying? He's telling the truth, and he's providing the data he's using. He's providing how he does it, and you can go confirm it. Call into question the Lou Elizondos, the Jeremy Corbells, the Stephen Greers of the world. Demand more, because he's saying, oh, you think I'm could just come out with something tangible? You guys all want this tangible evidence, and let me tell you, it doesn't work quickly like that, and it doesn't work like that. I'm trying to do it the right way, and blah blah blah, and get them to change government with transparency. Cool. Say that from the beginning, not crazy shit's happening and here's no proof.
Right.
Then don't say it. You got a story, tell the story, but don't do what's been happening. So call it into question. This shit pisses me off. What do you think, Stephanie? I can't hold back the cussing tonight. This one pisses me off because of what I heard from Elizondo today. And then we look at this crap from Corbell, and then we look at this not crap from AARO, and turns out AARO's doing their job, and it's what everyone thought it was, balloons. What do you think?
I mean, not much to say other than we were right. Good to know that it's been confirmed that we were right.
Yeah.
But just common sense. Think things through.
Mm-hmm.
Don't follow somebody else's narrative. Do research yourself. Yep.
PFEs, proof, facts, evidence.
Yep.
Require it. If they're going to make a claim, require proof, facts, and evidence.
Yep.
Again, if you guys want to see the full 17-minute good quality video, go to AARO.mil, M-I-L. Third tab over UAP cases. Go to that. Go down to official UAP imagery. As of right now, the Jellyfish UAP is the first video that pops up. Go read their assessment, which is minimal. And watch the whole video. You're not going to see anything much different, but watch the whole thing. Look at the quality. Mm-hmm. It's right there, man. It's right there. Well, with that said, obscuredr1@gmail.com. That side, you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, blah, 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 all that stuff. Glad to bring you this update. We're out of here. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check back with us often for new episodes. Feel free to drop a comment, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obscured Reality.